Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. This is a laptop test with an i3 with 2 cores and 4 threads. 3 gigahertz clock speed, 8 megabytes of RAM. I believe, excuse me, 8 gigabytes of RAM, excuse me. I think it's 1600 megathreads, I forget. But this particular frame rate test is with a laptop that runs Just Cause 2 at 60 frames a second. It runs, keep the VSync on. It runs Control at 30 frames a second. And it runs this at between 30 to 40 frames a second. All the settings are set to low, but it turns out for this game it's not really necessary. This game looks perfectly fine on low. As long as the resolution's reasonable, the visuals look perfectly fine with low settings. Medium if you really want them. The difference between ultra settings and low settings isn't really that stark, honestly. I played the game on some desktops where I cranked up the settings. They didn't make the game look appreciably better. This isn't the kind of game where the art style blows you away, I would argue. But for this benchmark, I should mention that, again, the resolution scale is set to 80%, so it's a widescreen 612p, arguably. And the frame rate is between 28 and 40 frames a second usually. This benchmark will clarify that because there are a couple of choke points in this benchmark where there are explosions near the screen. That's where the frame rate's going to dip below 30. Probably not for very long. So you can see the maximum frame rate there on the top right-hand corner of the screen. 33 is the minimum. There will be a couple of explosions later. That's where the frame rate tanks. For this video, we're going to set the frame rate cap to 30 frames a second. So there's an explosion there. You'll see a couple more. I turned down the effects so the explosions aren't that much of a choke point. But yeah, I think we did good. Yeah, see, we never dipped below 30. I have a couple of other benchmark tests I might attach to the end of this video. When I tested the game at a 90% resolution scale, which is what, a widescreen 692p, the frame rate dipped below 20. I think it was like 26 or 27. But at the average, I think it was about 33 or 34. So again, the minimum frame rate, we did well. Average frame rate is 50. So again, we can't lock it to 60, obviously. But we can definitely lock it to 30. I played this game for an hour or so last night. Got through a couple of the story modes, a couple of the story missions. So this game never dropped below 30 from what I could see. I didn't really put it through a real serious stress test. Like a real stress test is raiding a camp and getting surrounded by a bunch of minions, which we're probably going to do in this video. I know if you're playing on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360, if you get into a fight with like a couple dozen orcs, it gets really nasty in terms of frame rates. Dip into the single digits. I have footage of me playing this game. Yeah, I've been playing for an hour. I have footage of me playing this game. Oh, I forgot to change the skin. We'll worry about that later. Um, I was playing this game on the PlayStation 3 on this channel. I got an hour of footage out of it. And yeah, you can tell how much it dipped. It was one of my more popular videos, actually. But yeah, the PlayStation 3 version of this game is notorious. But I got it from the library. I didn't hate it. But yeah, you can tell. Like it feels like a game that was dragged, kicking and screaming from more powerful hardware down to the PlayStation 3. They clearly didn't build it from the ground up to run on a PlayStation 3. So obviously, this game was a launch title for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and it runs very well on those consoles. I've played those. I played all those versions of that game. I played all the console versions of that game. But yeah, the 360 version was the one I played first, and it was sluggish, but it was ugly as sin. But at least it was playable. I played it. I liked it enough to buy the PC version, which is the version I'm playing right now. The console versions are very good, but the frame rate is capped at 30. And you can't unlock the frame rate to my knowledge. So if you try to play these games on a PlayStation 5, you can't get higher frame rates. I'll confirm, but no one has confirmed. No one has told me anything about a frame rate being unlocked, a frame rate cap being unlocked. So what are we gonna do? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take out as many of these dudes as we can, get a bunch of runes, and maybe pick a fight with some really nasty targets that are surrounded by a bunch of enemies. So who's the closest one? If I can find a Karagor, that'd be amazing, but we'll worry about that later. Some captains can be found engaging, but yeah, whatever. We don't care about that. So those are power structures. Those are power struggles. I can just ignore those, I think. I've unlocked all the fast travel points. That's not a problem. So we have to find these two. So we got to interrogate someone to find those two. So we'll just take out a bunch of these guys. I'm not even going to worry about it. I don't really need to do a power struggle, honestly. Let's just see what happens. We might run into a couple of people. We don't have any we don't have any details. We'll just fight whoever. We'll fight whoever wants to mess with us. Wish an orc would, I guess, is how we're gonna treat this. What are my runes? We're not gonna worry about runes. We'll upgrade those later. What abilities do I have right now? Don't break. Come on. You can do it. The game probably crashed. Just to sit. Okay, about to say. I am running this game off of this external hard drive. It's a solid state hard drive. They were selling these 1 terabyte solid state drives. They're Xbox branded. They were $50. In summer of 2024, that's an amazing price for a 1 terabyte solid state drive. External one, at least. Usually they cost like 70 or $80. Which reminds me, I probably have to go to Micro Center. So execution. So when your hit streak is high enough, you can do a quick execution, or basically a big hit. It can do massive damage to captains, and it can finish off regular orcs. Aerial takedowns can become lethal, so that's going to be useful for my stealth kills. Arguably overpowered, but I don't have to use it. But it's an option. This is a skill I want, the ability to jump over rocks and go faster. That's going to be a way for us to test the frame rate, obviously, during traversal. No unreal stutter in this game, am I right? Few fires barrels cause them to explode. I never use this skill, honestly. It might be useful in like certain situations, but I never play the game that way. This is a skill I love using. It allows me to kind of whack. It allows me to whittle enemies down more quickly. And of course, the ability to ride Karagors from above makes gathering Karagors way easier. That's complete main missions. Need to complete power struggles. Drain from stealth sounds amazing. Stealth kill for brutalize. Throw a dagger. Lethal finisher and a last chance struggle. I'm not going to do that. Doubles hit streak gained on well tuck. That's cute. I don't like poison. I never use poison. Teleport sounds amazing, but I need to complete main missions for that. But those shadow strikes are amazing when you're doing the time trials. They're part of the DLC. Wraith Flash is, I guess, somewhat interesting. Karagor Hunter, the ability to counter Karagor. I don't care about that. Okay, so I guess we can do some power struggles. So let's do that then. Let's do some power. We can fight the power. Invade the feast. Yeah. I usually don't care about these, but I'll probably do one of these now. So we're going east. That was a lot of setup. I apologize, but you know what you're gonna do. I like to provide context for these videos if I can. Power struggle right here. So let's set the waypoint. Let's go after him. Let's go get him. It's pretty close. I forgot there's detective mode when you press the left stick. So this is why having the teleportation would be hilarious, but we'll unlock the teleportation ability later. I do love it though. And I should be able to run. How do I run? You hold down the A button to run. The slave's free. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Missed him. Yeah, I missed. Free slaves. I forgot to free a slave. Which is unusual for your boy. Just a second. Oh, that's where he is. That's where we're going to free him. We should be able to lure him over with the... How do I attract him? I can't attract him. Okay, he turned around. Stealth kill. And I should have interrogated him. Crap. Okay, so we freed the slaves, right? Yep, freed the slaves. All right, so I should have grabbed him and interrogated him so I can unlock a couple of those captains that were on the bottom row of the captain screen. Okay? I don't really need those, but whatever. Can I, where am I going? Yeah, can I take, let me see if I can take the zip line. Give me a second. Zip lines aren't that important, but they're cute, I guess. I gotta interrogate this guy. Give me a second. I don't want to stealth kill him. I just want to interrogate him. I just want to interrogate him. There we go. Got him. Right bumper, interrogate. You can also drain him to get some elf shot points. But the idea is that when you interrogate them, they can unlock intel. Our strengths and weaknesses already known. Already known. So let's see what this... I can't use him. View strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, not terribly useful. So let's just unlock. Let's unlock these guys. We'll unlock the bottom row. The weakest ones, but whatever. Okay, so we're not going to worry about him. We're still trying to get to a power struggle, which means there's going to be like a cutaway to like a self-contained fight, pretty much. It's going to teleport me to a different part of the map. Okay, we're going to go up. So like I said, we'll put this game through a stress test in a second. We're going up there. So let's see if we can interrogate him to get the last captain. You don't want to do a stealth kill. Just want to grab him. Whoops. Cancel that. I'm trying to grab him. I can't grab him. I can't grab him if this thing is in the way. It's weird. There we go. So I had to stun him just to get past that that waypoint that would teleport me to the power struggle. So we've unfogged all the captains on this map. So we'll worry about him later. So how do we get to the power struggles right here? So we'll start it here. So you have to press the grab button activates this waypoint. So we'll accept that. We'll get teleported to the fight. I don't know if we can run away from this, but it's just an event where you can take out multiple captains. Like you can either allow one captain to kill the other or take them both out. We can't interrogate him for details. There should be another captain around here. There might not be. Sometimes the captains don't fight each other. Stealth kill. Usually you're able to kill them before you're able to kill them as soon as they see you, but if you know what you're doing, you can kill them before they can spot you. That's why the triangle was red. We got a worm over there we can interrogate, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get to him. I might be able to go around these guys. Give me a second. Is there a Karagor over there? There's no Karagor in that cage. They don't always spawn inside the cages. So that's that option. That option's not available. See if we can sneak around and get to him. Hey, bro. Invulnerable to stealth. Oh, well. Found out the hard way. And press Y and B together for an execution. So that took off about a third of his health. The flurry that I did a stun attack, then followed by a flurry, which doesn't do that much damage. But what it does do is that it gives me an opportunity to build up my hit stun meter. Yeah, I can do a ground finisher on him. Then do the execution. He's not dead yet. Don't interrupt me. Y and B together for the finisher. So as long as that hit stun meter or that hit chain meter is at what, 7 or higher, I can press Y and B together and do an execution. Or at least in this case, it's a finishing move, which will kill a weakened enemy or a regular enemy, but it will just do massive damage to a captain like this. So the idea is you press the B button for a stun attack, followed by a flurry. Give me that. Guess I didn't scare him off. Okay, I'm not going to be able to grab that, so whatever. Let's finish these guys off so I can get that rune. Okay, so the meter's at 8. So you saw that meter turn red? That means I can do the finisher like that. That's how you whittle these guys down. And of course, you can also do this. That ground takedown makes you vulnerable, so you don't want to spend too much time on that. Ideally, you'll build up the meter to like to the red number to like to level 8. Then once you do that, you're able to do a finisher on the strongest guy in the group. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. That's a ground execution. So you can whittle enemies down by killing them as quickly as by killing like 1 or 2 enemies as quickly as possible. That gives you the route. That usually gives you the space you need to take out the rest of the crew. It's hard. That's one really useful way to use. That's one reason why those execution moves are so useful, because when you do that stun followed by the flurry attack, you build up that meter really quickly, which allows you to do an execution on another enemy. Because that flurry doesn't do very much damage at all, but it builds up your meter, so you can do a finishing move on another enemy that's not as weak. So you can build up the meter on one guy, then execute a strong guy that's right next to him in one shot. So that one guy that you stun becomes like a way to feed the meter, so you can execute stronger enemies. So you pick the weakest guy in the group, stun him with that little wraith punch right there, and then do a flurry to build up your meter, so you can whittle down. You can one shot all the enemies that are surrounding that one weak dude. So, tactical considerations like that are the reason why I like this game as much as I do, because the game does make you think about how to do mob management. So it's a much better. Again, this is a brawler in the spirit of the old Double Dragons and the old, Final Fights, the Ninja Turtles arcade games. Of course, the combat's way more tactical and way more complex. So it has tactical elements to it that aren't in any of those old 20th century brawlers, really. So this game is very much part of the new breed of the God of War like spectacle fighters. Less button mashy than like a Bayonetta, but not as deliberate or tactical as a game like, say, Dark Souls. But I think it does a good job with the middle ground. Okay, where am I going, by the way? I'm all discombobulated. Defeat him to earn a okay, we can do that too. Why not? But was there a upgrade I can use? No points. Oh, I forgot about this. So I can upgrade my weapons, increase my maximum health, which I won't do. That makes the game too easy. I think the game might be slightly slow loading off this external hard drive, so that's okay. I could probably plug it into a different port. It's plugged into a USB-C port, but it's not the fast one. It's a decent speed though. So what can I do? I don't want to increase. Again, I want to challenge myself, so I'm not going to increase my hit points. What can I do? Increase my maximum focus. That sounds decent. I can unlock a rune slot later. So max focus means it's easier for me to slow down. I'm able to slow down time for a longer period, so I can aim at enemies more easily. Because when you zoom in on an enemy, it slows down time. That upgrade that I gave myself allows me to extend that time. So that makes it easier for me to target enemies at range. But this is a game where you only really use that to whittle down enemies. You don't really use it in the melee, obviously. If you're good, you can, but that's not how I play the game usually. Where is the red? It's over here. Right over here. But again, this is one of those games I'm always going to come back to. Like every year or so, I always just stick it in. I always pull it out of the Steam catalog and just give it a run. Every time I get a new computer, I see how well it runs. Uh-oh. Where's the archer? Hey, bro. Yeah, I didn't need to. I didn't need to interrogate him. Now, if I see a worm, I will interrogate him because he'll help me determine. If I get another worm, I'll interrogate him so I can learn someone's weaknesses. Just a second. You can also grab him and throw him off the side, so that's always cute. You can throw enemies over the side and kill them instantly. Like you're throwing them off of roofs. Nice touch. I love stuff like that in this game. Another dude right here. Stealth kill. As you probably noticed on the left side of the screen there, I'm getting experience. So that allows me to level up and get myself some more abilities if I need them. Not those. What upgrades do I want? I need more power. So when I get 42 more power points, the red power points next to my eyes. What is it? Next to my eyebrows. To the left, if you go up, next tier unlock. 42p. So if I get 42 more red power points, power struggle points, they'll unlock this tier of abilities down here. So that's why I'm doing this particular video. It's also a frame rate test. You can probably still see the frame rate counter at the top left-hand corner of the screen. We should be locked at 30. I haven't noticed any obvious problems, so I think we're good. So yeah, it's good to have another game that runs well on a laptop. Is there another dude here? I'll worry about him later. Just kill this guy. Can I reach him from here? Because remember, you have to target the right guy. Stealth kill. Wrong guy. Yeah, wrong guy. Oh well. Maggot! Oh, I know the tricks. I'll give you one little cut, then dance around you for an hour till your blood's all drained away, or whatever. Again, that stuff's fine, but it's it's flavor text. It's not bad, but what are you going to do? Execution? Okay, he's surrounded by archers, so also be careful. Ow. Yeah, my hit meter's down. Got him. Okay, so we killed him with the flurry finisher. Okay, so give me that. Threw him into the fire. Killed that guy. Okay, can I grab this? Nope. Surrounded. Well, let's just finish him off. Yeah, I can't do the ground execution because I got interrupted. Ground execution. We'll kill the guy behind him. Quick finisher. Stabby, stabby. Ow! Bastard. I'll do you for that. He just ran away. Sounds like a good idea. I'll take that. Chance to recover health on a critical strike. Again, some of that loot's not amazing, like very marginal upgrades, but you can sell the runes you don't want. Like, let's say I don't want some of these runes. Like, say I can't sell that one, but I can sell the regular ones. So I can convert that into mithril. Which, as you saw me do earlier, I'm able to convert that mithril to other abilities, like, more elf shot or more focus time, that kind of thing. Aether's Wrath. What am I selling? Recover focus on a shadow strike. Sounds amazing. Chance to recover health on a headshot. Okay, that's very specific. Chance to recover F shot after firing the bow. That's very specific. That's a very tiny amount of L shots. I would argue it's not worth it. Chance to recover while riding a monster. Not worth it. So I'll convert that. So I like the idea that you can just get rid of the ones you don't want. Just convert it to a currency that's useful. So we'll convert that. Hidden Blade, stealth kill, do extra damage to captains. That might be cheating. I'm gonna have to turn that off. That sounds like cheating. Chance to get an automatic critical strike in the first hit, but that's oddly specific. What else do I want? I got an ability point. I don't want to spend it yet. Let's unlock this tier. We need to do some more power crap. I guess I gained some power when I killed that captain, but we're going to do this power struggle here, see what's up. We're not going to worry about lowering the alarm. Like I said, frame rate's holding up, so that's what counts. Not able to play this game on a Nintendo Switch because, again, they finally released the Batman game, the Arkham games, or at least 3 of them, on Nintendo Switch, even though one of them they never should have thought about putting Arkham Knight on a Switch. But they were able to prepare themselves for the inevitable Switch 2 because that's probably going to allow the game to run at 30 frames a second, if they patch it, I assume. But yeah, I mean, like the ability to run Arkham City at 30 at a locked 30 frames a second sounds amazing to me. Kill all the gang followers first. Just a second. Might be possible. Might not be worth it, but I want to see if I can get the bonus. Let's do this. Hey, dude. Did he see me? Maybe he didn't see me. Okay, let's do a stealth. Let's do a stealth run. So we'll kill them first. Nope, not stunned yet. We can try to kill them first. I just want to see what my options are. I got 2 of them. He's got fire. Be careful. Ah, baby! And someone's gonna raise the alarm. Sounds like a bad idea. Which gang followers am I killing first? Ah! Head up. Head off. Okay, he shot somebody. Yeah, I don't know where the other. I don't know where the other gang. Uh-oh, where'd this guy come from? I don't know where the other gang followers went. I was trying to kill them first. Maybe I just wasted my time. Were they? I think they were all archers though. I'm not looking good. Wow, I think he killed me. You didn't even. Yeah. I didn't even get yeah, I didn't even get a what you call it. I didn't even get a final strike. He just blew me up. Oh well. Like I said, this game runs at 30 frames a second, which is what counts. So you know what? We didn't get a chance to do all the things we wanted to do during this video, but you know what? We got to see the frame rate run for the open world portion. The slowdown, like the load times you saw, I want to say those were mostly a result of me playing off an external drive. But yeah, remember, this game runs on a PlayStation 3, barely. So it's going to run on this laptop, which is what I said about Saints Row 4, which ran like crap in the open worlds. That was disappointing. Yeah, maybe I just need new drivers. I don't know, but these Intel HD 11th generation drivers are not amazing. This is a quad core. No, it's an i3 with 4 threads, 2 cores but 4 threads, so it's hyper threaded. 3 gigs. What else we got? We got 8 gigs of RAM. Again, at least 1600 mega MTs. It might be 2400 MTs. I'll double check. I'll add the specs to the description. 8 gigs of, like I said, so 8 gigs of RAM. Again, 11th generation iGPU from Intel. So it's not quite, I think it doesn't quite have the XESS functionality for the upscaling and all that nonsense. But the drivers for this GPU, for the CPU, are the same drivers that are used for the XSS, the XESS drivers. So this is a beefy iGPU that's able to play games like this at 30 frames a second, which is good. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this laptop now. Again, I wish it played Saints Row 4 better. I haven't played Skyrim on this thing yet, but it's going to get 60. Because I'm getting 60. I got 30 on 10-year-old laptops. I'm fairly certain I can get 60 out of this one using the same settings. I had a 10-year-old laptop that was running Skyrim at 480p. So it's going to run this at 60. But again, Just Cause 2 running at 60. Chef's kiss. Control running at 30. That's shocking. But games like this, Dragon's Dogma running at a solid 30 frames a second, mostly. Huge fan. And I have to pull out Kingdoms of Amalur. I'm definitely going to do that. Again, this laptop is not able to run crap like Metaphor. That's a game from 2024. It's turn-based, but it's not very well optimized for laptops, I'm afraid. So that's a bit of a stinker. There are a couple of games I'm supposed to test out later. So here's what I'll do. I'll do one more benchmark test at a higher resolution, so you get to see how this game runs. So you get full screen. The problem is I can't do full screen because it's gonna dip below. It's gonna dip below 25. But yeah, we're getting 60 frames a second out of this. I'm not gonna complain. I'm getting 30 frames a second out of this. I would never complain about that. So yeah, one of my favorite games of the last decade runs on this $200 laptop at 30 frames a second at a parsable and a completely reasonable 612p, a widescreen 612p. I am never going to complain about that. If you released a modern video game that's this good and it ran this well on a laptop, a $200 laptop, I'm on board. I wish developers would make more games like this. Like games like this that the game this has to run on a Switch. But I guess they don't want to pay for it. If Lord of the Rings ends up blowing up in the next decade, maybe they'll re-release this game for the Switch too. I would love for them to release this game for the Switch too. They're probably like a 2-for-1, I guess. They might release this and Shadow of War. I need to play more Shadow. I like Shadow of War, but I haven't played enough of it. It feels like I've played like a dozen hours of it, but it feels like I've barely scratched the surface. But yeah, it feels like another version of this. And Shadow of War is like a $5 game. So it feels like another version of this. It feels like an extension of this. And the DLC, I've said this before. I don't like the DLC for this game, except for the trials. I am a fan of the trials, the little time trials you do. And I'll probably wind up playing those because I prefer to play those on my desktop because I get the higher frame rate. But yeah, so we got 30 frames a second out of this. So that's good. So again, depending on, how frisky your laptop is feeling, yeah, you can get 30 frames a second out of this game at this resolution. But since you can't get 60, you might as well play at 30. You might as well crank up. Since you can't get 60, crank up the resolution, add the frame rate cap to 30, and you'll be fine. You're not gonna get 720p. You can probably still get 720p out of it. But yes, again, I don't think you need to crank up any of these settings. I don't think they really make the game look that much better, honestly. I mean, again, I've played this on desktops at higher settings. I don't really care about the way the game looks that much. I'm perfectly fine playing this game with these Counter-Strike-like settings, just so I can get the higher frame rates. On a desktop, 60 frames a second, no problem. But yeah, still one of my favorite games of the decade. So I'm glad it runs on my laptop. Recorded the audio commentary with the Plantronics headset, and the capturing laptop is a quad-core Celeron with 1.1 gigahertz clock speed, 4 gigs of RAM, Windows 10 education laptop at 60 frames a second. Actually, no, it's a 30 frames per second capture because, like I said, the frame rate cap is set at 30 for the purposes of this video. But yeah, I'm glad the game held 30. It felt fine. Like it didn't feel sluggish. It feels like a good version of this game. Again, if I want to kind of optimize my play and do a speed run, yeah, I'm hooking it up to the desktop where I can play in 4K if I want. Probably get 60 frames a second. I think this game should be. I think I should be able to get 1440p at 60 frames a second on my desktop, and that's more than enough for a game like this. I don't need 4K for a game like this. But in other words, I'd rather play at 1440p at 60 frames a second than play at 4K at 30. So that's me. Frames win games. But yeah, I'm glad. Highly recommended. It's cheap. It runs on cheap hardware. It's got a lot of content, a lot of fun to play. I put like 50, 60 hours into this game, probably 80. Never beaten it. I might sit down and finally try to beat the story mode later. I've been told the story mode isn't really that good, honestly, in terms of the combat there. But as an open world game where dynamic events are constantly happening, excellent game. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor on the PC. This is a laptop test, so it'll run on your Steam Deck, almost guaranteed. But this laptop is underpowered compared to a Steam Deck, so you'll be fine, I think.